The original Destiny is one of my most played games of all time. It's really the only FPS and co-op game that I've gotten into. I love the world and religiously played it throughout high school. Yet, here we are. One sequel, 7 years, multiple publishers, countless Destiny killers later, and the biggest Destiny killer of all has been Bungie. But this isn't the Bungie that we all know and love. It's not the hundreds of developers. It's not the sound designers. It's not the community managers. It's the people at the top. The businessmen, the executives. They are the ones who've slowly run this game and the company into the ground. Now, I don't play Destiny 2. I didn't buy it on release, but I did jump in for a few seasons after Forsaken dropped. I just realized that I didn't have the wealth of free time like I previously did to invest into it. However, I still follow the game because I want to see it succeed. It's a franchise that I deeply love, but said goodbye to many years ago. So if you see really trash gameplay, that's why. I'm terrible at FPSs and really don't know how to use mouse and keyboard. But anyway, there was always something holding Bungie back, right? Microsoft, Activision, whatever boogeyman the community decided to lay the blame on other than Bungie. Because how could Bungie be the problem? I mean, they created such a foundationally sound game with rich locations and lore. They clearly know how to design a game. But I think we've all now just realized who the enemy really is. For those out of the loop, in October of last year, Bungie laid off 100 workers of the 1,200 people working there. And this wasn't just like newbies at the company. This batch of layoffs included long-time veterans who had been with Bungie for literal decades. Like Michael Salvatore, who had been a composer for Bungie since Halo 1, which released in 2001. So, yeah, not good. Then, at the end of July of this year, they announced that they would lay off an additional 220 people. So, for those of you keeping track, that's more than 25% of their workforce in less than a year. And this comes just 2 months after one of the best expansions Destiny has ever received, The Final Shape. It's sitting at an 89 on Metacritic, which, okay, yeah, it's Metacritic, but still, it was super well received by both critics and fans. And that leads us back to the top. This seems to be a running theme. The people at the top are rarely those who know how the process works. You can see it in game development, you can see it in education, it's everywhere. And it's a massive problem. I don't know how people with MBAs and no other experience end up in these positions. The devs at Bungie worked their asses off for months to build back up some semblance of goodwill following the first round of layoffs, and it's all been for nothing. You've got basically every Destiny content creator talking about branching out and adding variety to their channel because they don't really have much hope for the future of this game. These are people whose entire livelihood revolves around your game, and they're not putting money on you. That's a problem. In the meantime, you've got CEO Pete Parsons spending over $2 million on classic cars while laying off massive chunks of his workforce. You've got higher-ups refusing pay cuts because Bungie isn't that type of company. I know it's weird that someone who doesn't play this game is furious, but it's made me realize that Bungie is a microcosm of so many issues plaguing us right now. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on, I think we can all agree that the economy is really messed up right now. Inflation is through the roof, all while profit records are constantly getting shattered. You basically don't own anything anymore, you just own the license to use that product, and everything is a subscription. It feels like everything is coming to a head. It feels like the average person is just getting screwed. The developers at Bungie are that average person. They pour their blood, sweat, and tears into a massive project, only to be gutted because someone won't be able to pay for their third house. It's ridiculous, and it's not happening just to Bungie. We've seen an unbelievable amount of layoffs within the gaming industry over the past year. No company is safe. Everybody hired a ton of new employees during the COVID gaming boom, and, of course, that growth was unsustainable. I don't understand how executives and shareholders can expect profits to always grow. At some point, the bubble is going to burst, and we're seeing that right now. The bubble is bursting, at least in the tech sphere, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get much better. We've all seen how far AI has progressed in the last few years. Even though I'm just a random gaming YouTuber, I believe we're entering into a new era. We've been living in the information age for a while now, but I think we're in the beginning stages of the AI era. And that means that a lot of people are going to be out of a job soon. It'll start with the more creative fields, concept artists, composers, writers, and then it'll move to developers and testers. Pretty soon, there won't be many people left at game studios except for, you guessed it, the executives. It's just sad, you know? Destiny feels almost like a kid that I taught or coached or mentored. I watched them grow up and eventually leave the nest, only for self-destructive habits to kick in once they've left, and now they're falling deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole. This type of business model isn't sustainable. It just isn't. Companies can't fire the people who have the biggest impact on the product. It would be like if a school corporation started firing teachers, or if a restaurant got rid of half their cooks. Whenever something like this happens, I'm always reminded of Nintendo's financial struggles during the Wii U days. The Wii U flopped hard, and the CEO of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, cut his pay in half to help avoid layoffs. He said that a fully staffed Nintendo would have a better chance of bouncing back, and, quote, "If we reduce the number of employees for better short-term financial results, employee morale will decrease, and I sincerely doubt employees who fear that they may be laid off will be able to develop software titles that could impress people around the world." And hey, guess what Nintendo system came out right after the Wii U? The Switch is currently the third highest selling game console of all time, and yeah, their first-party Switch games have sold outstandingly well. These are the executives we need, the ones who think in their hearts that they are gamers. Nothing lasts forever. Everything that lives is designed to end. But to see Bungie, one of the most legendary studios in all of gaming, go down like this? It's sad. But what's sadder is that I know that they're not the only ones. We've grown so accustomed to seeing these types of layoffs in the industry that it's become routine. It's become routine to uproot someone's livelihood because the people at the top don't understand game development. Because the people at the top have no accountability. Because the people at the top don't understand what it's like to have your boots on the ground fighting for a product. So, to the compassionate, understanding, and mindful executives, thank you. To all of the other greedy, despicable, passion-destroying executives, and especially to you, Pete Parsons, be better.